Mayfield's famous Vitazone remedy works, carrying its germ-destroying properties to every corner of the human system, ridding it of impurities. Dr. Mayfield's wonderful Vitazone remedy brings a new spring to your walk.
The imagination can work miracles. From voodoo to Vitazone, health can be influenced by something as intangible as belief. And quack remedies may have worked for reasons other than what was in the bottle.
Bottle of Vitazone. Oh, I see a fine, intelligent young gentleman there. Oh, thank you, $1.
The power of belief, called the placebo effect, has made it more difficult for modern medical researchers to gauge the effectiveness of new drugs. But it also offers enormous promise, the promise that in some cases the mind can heal the body.
John Levine has been studying just how the placebo effect works, and today he's going to assess its effectiveness. His subjects are young and healthy. They're about to have their wisdom teeth removed.
We need now a topical anesthetic.
They receive anesthesia during the operation, but not after. Instead, Levine will administer an inert saline solution and not a painkiller to explore the power of placebo.
The experimental setup that we have used includes two different kind of conditions. One in which we want to get a maximum placebo effect, and one in which we want to get no placebo effect at all. In the situation in which we want no placebo effect to be seen, what we have had to do is to have a computer actually give the medication.
And I want you to sit down on this bed.
So the patient's intravenous line is hooked up to a computer which at some random time will give the medication to the patient.
So now you're hooked up to the machine. No one's going to know what it is or when you get it. None of us know anyway. Okay?
In fact, in today's experiment, both patients will receive only saline solution, no painkiller.
In the condition in which we want to have a maximum placebo effect, I would go in with my white coat on. I would have a stethoscope in my pocket. I would have the medicine drawn up in a big syringe, and I would make sure that the patient saw me administering the medication. How are you doing? I'm going to give you a shot now for the pain, and it'll take about 20 minutes for that to be able to produce its effect on the pain. So I wouldn't expect anything to occur too quickly, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the injection site on your IV.
The two patients, one cared for by the staff, the other ministered to by computer, will experience very different levels of pain relief. But what accounts for the difference?
I think the white coat in this culture, as, say, a mask in an African culture or some other symbol, represents to the patient that same image of a individual who has the power to provide a healing effect on them.
20 minutes later, time for the patients to report on the levels of pain they feel.
Okay, Peter. No pain to worst pain ever.
Okay.
How much are you having now?
Let's take it here, Carol. It's getting close.
Since the last time, has it gone up, gone down, or stayed the same?
It's gone up a bit.
Okay. Okay, Joe. No pain to worst pain ever. Make one mark through that line as to how much pain you're having now. Okay. And since the last time, has the pain gone up, gone down, or stayed the same?
Pain has gone down.
The right set of cues can also elicit the placebo effect in other areas of healing, but none are as well understood as its ability to control pain.
Since this original program was made, Dr. Levine has confirmed his research on the placebo effect. His research has raised a number of questions related to mind-body interactions.
What we now understand is that there's a very specific mechanism in the brain which is activated by responding to a placebo treatment for pain. that produces a decrease in the pain. And this mechanism, when it is activated, causes the release of endogenous morphine-like compounds or endorphins, and that these endorphins can then in turn produce inhibition of the pain. And this can be shown by administering patients who receive a response to a placebo, a drug which blocks the effect of either endogenous or exogenous morphine, a drug that we call naloxone. And when naloxone is administered to these patients, it reverses the placebo analgesia that they have received.
Normally, endorphins are released by the brain in response to pain signals. Their production is controlled. Since pain is so valuable, it would be dangerous for endorphins to be easily available. But they can be released if an individual believes he's receiving painkillers. Endorphins comprise a system of regulation that can be influenced by the mind.
The question that a lot of people ask now is, having a biological basis for the placebo effect, where would that take us in the future? What kind of things could we understand about the mind-body relationship that we were not previously able to explore? And I think having a physiological basis for a psychological construct as important as the placebo effect opens a number of avenues of research that we can now pursue and that are being pursued. One of those is a phenomenon called the nocebo, and that is a situation in which an intervention actually makes the condition worse. And there has been some evidence now that there is actually a similar mechanism in the body, such that if a physician came in and said, well, I don't think this is going to help you very much, and actually gave the patient an active drug like a injection of morphine, that you might actually be able to block the effect of morphine. And so now a second piece of the story, the physiology of pain and its control, is beginning to come into place. Another area that I think is becoming very important is what aspects of the individual might actually allow them to be a responder or not be a responder. And that would be as well to drugs as it is to psychological states. In the past, I think when we said somebody had pain, you would say somebody has post-operative pain. Well, we treat post-operative pain in a certain way. And you might say somebody had AIDS, and from their AIDS neuropathy they had pain. And we treat that in a certain way. But we now know that really there are a lot of individual differences, many of which have a sort of a biopsychological basis, and that understanding those are equally important. How to treat a female versus a male, how to treat a child versus an adult, and even potentially how to treat people of different races can be dramatically affected by their physiology, by cultural issues which are also psychological. And I think that this whole new avenue is being opened up by an understanding that there really is a physiological basis to the placebo effect.